Sometimes you just can't follow the crowd. This is Story Arcs, and I'm Art. And this is about the time I spent my entire summer staring out a window. Late 70s, early 80s. I was a little kid, probably around 8 years old, 9 years old. So I got this bike for my birthday right at the beginning of the summer. And I started riding the bike out in the neighborhood with my friends. And one day, all the kids in the neighborhood got together and they started doing this race around the projects, right? So we're racing up, racing down, racing all over the place. All over the projects, everybody's racing. And there's this one part of the projects where you can cut through this path and it leads you right back to the main park where everybody would hang out. So we're racing and we cut through this path and everybody's coming around this turn, right? So there's this left turn you got to make to get into the park. So everybody makes this left turn at top speed, right? But I'm kind of towards the back of the pack because I'm one of the smaller guys. And I make my left turn. And as I make my left turn, this baby walks out in front of my bike. He must have been 2 years old. Walks out in front of my bike. I slam on my brakes. My bike starts to skid and boom, I hit the kid with my bike. And he fell over. He didn't get scratched up. Didn't get hurt. He just got scared, because by the time we connected, the bike was basically stopped. But the wheel did tap the kid and the kid did fall on the ground and he started screaming up a storm, right? So then you had all these chicks from the projects who were there. And you're my baby. And they run over to me and they're like, what are you doing? What do you think you're doing? Why are you racing so fast? Blah, 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 blah. All you kids acting all crazy racing through here. This is back when cops used to patrol the neighborhood. So they had this officer patrolling the neighborhood. And it just so happens that when this happens, old boy's right there watching the whole thing, right? So he comes over to me, and at the time, the guy looked like he was 7 feet tall, right? He was super intimidating with his uniform and his gun and all this kind of stuff. And he walks over to me and he says, son, you know what you've done? And I'm like, yes, officer. And he's like, you can't be racing your bike through here. Who told you could ride your bike this fast through here? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I was just riding my bike with my friends, officer. And he's like, yeah, well, riding the bike is over. Where's your mother? And I'm like, oh, my mother's upstairs. And they're like, all right, somebody go get this kid's mother. So they go, and I'm like, oh no, it's a wrap now. It's really bad. This is really, really bad, right? And I'm just like, why me? Why is this happening to me, And so somebody goes and gets my mom, because, there's always somebody willing to go see you get all jammed up. So they go get my mom. She comes down. She's all super embarrassed, all these people looking at her and like, oh, your son trying to kill people, this and that. And the officer's there and he's like, ma'am, your son was racing his bike. He hit this baby. We're going to have to issue you a summons, blah, blah, blah. So he gives my mom a ticket. It was a wrap. As soon as I saw him pull out that ticket book, I was like, I'm dead, right? And so she takes me upstairs. She's super, super upset. I go upstairs. She tells me whatever she's going to tell me. She's yelling my ear off, right? And she's like, that's it. For the rest of the summer, you don't get to ride your bike. I was like, I just got my bike. The baby ran out in front of me. It wasn't even my fault. Blah, blah, blah. I'm pleading my case.
We do not care.
She's like, the whole summer, no bike. And so I got to spend the entire summer standing at my bedroom window, looking at all my friends playing, looking at all these other kids riding their bike. Sometimes they'd look up at the window and they point at me, be like, yo, what's going on? All right, come bring them down there with your bike, blah, blah, blah. And I just be like, man, this ain't even fair, So the moral of the story is, don't follow the crowd.